So I'm going to have a more detailed video in which I discuss home defense, defense in general, and the gathering of food. And there's a lot of reasons why I went with these, but it's just too detailed for this conversation. So moving on, I think gathering food and water is obviously your biggest concern. And for me, I'm going to rely mostly on small game. I'm going to rely on squirrels, rabbits, etc., as well as small food stores, which I'll show you in a minute. Water is a different issue. I see a lot of people stockpiling bottles of water, jugs of water, and it's a great idea if you're planning on staying home, but one of the things that I see that's missed over completely is a good water filter. Filters come in a lot of varying prices, varying qualities. For me, I went with a ceramic-based filter. This is the Katadyn Pocket Filter. It's one of the better ones on the market. It's got the longest filter life, and underneath it I have the MSR 10-liter hydration bladder. When that bladder is full, it's going to be 22 to 23 pounds. You're not going to want to carry much more than that on your back anyway, so I've gone with filter system. I'll filter as I go. One of the important things about your filter is that it's a 2 micron or less. This will filter out protozoa, cytosporia, as well as any granulated particles. In doing that, this filter is fine enough that anything with any sort of radiation, particularly nuclear irradiated water, can be made into drinking water, provided the filters themselves are not radiated. So if you do need more water than that, these weigh about 1/3 of an ounce. They're 96 ounces that they hold. They weigh about 1/3 of an ounce. They're rather durable. Nalgene bladders can be found anywhere, rather affordable. Of course, for the first 3 days, you're not going to be hunting or gathering. You're pretty much going to be hiding out and trying to find as safe of a spot as you can. So for that, I do have a little bit of food stores. I didn't go with any jerky or any meat because there's just such a surplus of rabbits, squirrels, and other things around here that that's not going to be a problem. So what I did is I went with sugars and fats. It's important that you get some good dry sacks to keep your food. You can get these 3 for 10 bucks at Walmart, and they're worth every penny. If you want to go a little nicer, you can get the Event bags. Well, I don't recommend Event for clothing. They do make really good dry sacks. For my rations, I pretty much went with Paydays. They got a lot of protein in them. Layer bars have a lot of very important fats, very few ingredients, naturally made. And fruit leathers for vitamin C's, lots of different flavors. You could have anything to get you going, and the truth is that's really just to get you through until you can get into where you're actually sustaining for yourself. So I don't think you should really pay too much attention to that. If you want a big bag of jerky, they are very effective. An important thing is meal preparation. So have a good knife and dedicate it to food. Don't use your knife that you're using for ropes and logs on your food to avoid contamination. And get yourself a real cheap titanium canteen. These are designed for stove use, but they work really well on pencil fires. If you don't know what a pencil fire is, please look up the Knowles Outdoor School. They taught me to cook outside on open fire, and it's a life skill that you'll always use. So I have the MSR titanium kettle here. Holds about 3 cups of water, 0.8 liters. It's incredibly lightweight, it only weighs 4 ounces. With it, I've got a little collapsible mug for pouring my stuff into. This will get too hot to hold if you're cooking with it, so it's important you have some way to hold your food. And for me, at a 1/2 ounce, I have the Sea to Summit Alpha utensil set. Clearly not necessary, but sometimes it makes you feel like a human to have something real to eat with. So as for gathering food, stick with animals that are small, that are easy to clean, that you don't have to do any sort of preparation with. People who take down deer, they plan on smoking the meat. You're going to draw crowds from everywhere, as well as drawing in bears and other natural predators that you're not going to have to be fighting off. So filter your water as you go. It's more lightweight, it'll last you forever, and it's actually cleaner. The water you have, even using aqua mirror or iodine drops, can still continue to get, as that wears off, you'll get mold infections as well as other smaller things, cytosporia. If that does happen, it's very important that you get Cipro on you. Cipro or any sort of Zithromax. I have azithromycin. These are really good if you get contaminated water, you start to get really sick, as well as some other basic first aid, which we'll talk about in a second.